Good evening. Thank you for joining. My name is Lauren Scott, and I'm the Gifted and Testing Coordinator with Strongsville City Schools. This evening, we will review our Guide to Early Entrance document, which can also be located on our district website under Gifted Education. We abide by Ohio Revised Code in regard to the governing for early entrance. For Strongsville City Schools, by request, a child may be recommended for evaluation for early entrance to kindergarten if they will be 5 years of age between August 2nd and December 31st. Is early entrance to kindergarten the best choice for your child? Early entrance should be viewed as a means of meeting a child's needs. Developmental readiness is important in determining whether or not early entrance is appropriate. Though a child may have a lot of ability, they may not be ready for kindergarten. Understanding and assessing social maturity, personal development, and motor development are key factors for a child's success in school. Some considerations when determining if early entrance is right for a child. Is my child capable of working in a classroom setting? Will my child be frustrated by this placement? What are the possible long-term impacts for my child as they progress through elementary, middle, and high school? For example, if your child chooses to go to college beginning at a younger age than their peers. Early entrance is not designed as a replacement for preschool. And understanding the expectations for students in kindergarten today. For example, students are expected to ask and answer questions about key details in a text, retell familiar stories with details, ask and answer questions about unknown words in a text, and identify similarities and differences between two texts on the same topic. Some more examples and additional information are in the next section, What is expected of students in kindergarten. In this section, there are 3 links for you to explore. The first being the Early Learning Content Standards from the Ohio Department of Education. This link will go into subject-specific academic content standards for English language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies for what a child learns in kindergarten and should master by the end of it. The next link for kindergarten readiness assessment. And the last link is a checklist that the Ohio Department of Education publishes for kindergarten readiness when considering if your child is a good candidate for early entrance. Kindergarten in Strongsville City Schools is currently offered as a half-day or a tuition-based full-day program. In applying for early entrance, the Department of Curriculum will coordinate the early entrance process. The first process or step in this is to have a meeting to discuss the process, which we are currently doing. Tomorrow, you will receive an application via email for you to complete if you would like to continue with the process. You must return this by May 15th to the curriculum department in order for us to continue. Then, Brenda Rosala in our curriculum department will be in contact to schedule a time for you to bring your child to the administrative office in which the psychologist will administer the assessment. The evaluation will be completed within 45 school calendar dates from receipt of your completed application packet. As developmental readiness is important for success in kindergarten, students who are viable candidates for early entrance are expected to be developmentally on track or above the typical kindergarten student. As defined by the Ohio Department of Education, early entrance to kindergarten is considered a whole grade acceleration, and therefore grade acceleration procedures and specific assessments must be completed. The Iowa Acceleration Scale will be the guide for early entrance and whole grade acceleration. This is a multi-tiered process that begins with an individual cognitive assessment. To be considered eligible for whole grade acceleration, there must be reasonable expectation for success for the student's long-term general level of achievement. The Weschler Preschool and Primary Scale of Intelligence, the WIPSI, is most typically used for this initial assessment for superior cognitive ability. According to the Iowa Acceleration Scale, a student who achieves a score of 115 or higher on the cognitive assessment is a viable candidate for acceleration, and then the process will continue if they score that score. Students who do not achieve the score will not be considered for early entrance to kindergarten, and the process concludes at that time. If a student does achieve a 115 on the cognitive assessment, additional measures of achievement and aptitude will be administered and used in consideration for early entrance. Additionally, information from preschool staff or extracurricular instructor, somebody outside of the family, may be scheduled to assist with the determination of more specific areas for behavioral, academics, emotional, and social characteristics that will come into play as we look at the whole child for acceleration skills to make sure that they're successful in a school environment. We have a wonderful flow chart here that goes through this process for you, where we are at that first part where the meeting is scheduled for interested families to discuss the process. Tomorrow, you will receive that via email, the application, and we must have that completed by May 15th if you would like to continue in the process. The cognitive ability assessment, again, is then administered by the psychologist. If the full-scale IQ is less than 115, then the child is not recommended for early entrance and the process concludes. If the full-scale IQ is equal to or greater than 115, the achievement and aptitude assessment will then be administered by the psychologist on a separate date. All of that information, along with information from your preschool teacher or somebody outside of the family for an extracurricular activity, gets tabulated to see if the student is a viable candidate for early entrance and qualifies. A team meeting will be held to discuss if it's an appropriate fit, and based on that information, if the student does not qualify for early entrance to kindergarten, the psychologist will share and discuss those results with the family. In addition to curricular alternatives, the parent also has the right to appeal within 30 school calendar days to the superintendent. The superintendent gathers that information, and their decision is final. If, based on all of that information, early entrance is recommended, then your child will be registered for kindergarten for the upcoming school year. A written acceleration plan then gets developed. The written acceleration plan is a plan that includes strategies to ensure success, as well as applicable staff members responsible for monitoring the academic progress until the end of that 6-week transition period. The written acceleration plan not only provides academic, but behavioral and social goals, which we developed by the team to ensure a successful transition for your child to early entrance to kindergarten. At the end of that 6-week transition period, the placement shall become permanent if the team agrees that it is an appropriate fit for your child. If at that time it might not be an appropriate fit, we do reconvene as necessary to determine additional supports or to reconsider the placement of early entrance to kindergarten for your child. Additional information can be found in this document. We have a timeline here, as well as where to send the completed application, either through mail or through email, as well as our appeal process. Lastly, to note, very few children who are referred for early entrance meet the entrance requirement or criteria. It is very rare. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me via email if you have any questions, and I'd be more than happy to assist. Thank you very much for your time this evening.